And what happened was, do you remember Sarah Stock? You remember Sarah? She came out of nowhere and she got onto the casting list. She gave away some of the vernacular of these people with agents and groups behind them, these content creators now, the grassroots content creators, they're all gone. We're like all that's left. We're all that. Everybody else has a group of people behind them that are serve as like their agents, and they serve to they're getting paid, and it's on, ladies and gentlemen. And they have the same vernacular that is used in the television and movie industry, things like casting list and things of this nature. And Sarah, she accidentally gave up some of that verbiage several months back when she got on Jubilee, and she was asked, "How did you get on Jubilee?" And she said, "Well, my agent got me on the casting list." I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? This still looks like, you turn on YouTube, you turn on these different platforms, it still looks like it's organic. It still looks like it's people flicking on their video in their actual office or their bedroom or their den. It still looks like that, but it's not, and it hasn't been that way for a long time. You now have orchestrated resistance, folks. That is what's dominating everywhere you turn. Very few real organic content creators left. And so she was on and so immediately, what did she do? She sucked. She absolutely was garbage on Jubilee. She went out there and she's like, she is scared of foreigners. Do you remember this? And then all across, the bots went crazy. The simp army for yet another mid-female, attraction-wise, another mid-female rolls up with a conservative or nationalistic opinion, or she's going to do some sort of like stiff-armed thing. And then all of these, the tyranny of the tards, they all of a sudden, they well up and they're like, yes, follow. And then they're like, oh, I want to do something else with that hand. I've already clicked follow enough. I want to do something else with that. But follow. Got a follower immediately. Popularity goes through the stratosphere. Everybody immediately knows who this nothing is. This total dilettante. Shut up, Sarah Stock. Shut up. You don't have anything of value to say. This is a big problem in the white. I come out punching, especially, when we're talking about female. What was that guy, the black guy's name? It wasn't Mean Joe Green. I always think it's Mean Joe Green from the day. When you hit a man upside the head or a woman, Jason's advocating hitting women. I knew that about him. What a POS he is. He was talking about beating women. Have you ever heard such a thing? As her husband hits her. So yes, shut up, Sarah Stock. Shut up, all females practically. Very few should be speaking in a leadership guys mentality role, content creating, telling masses. I mean, give me a break. Get back in the kitchen. Honestly, this is ridiculous. Because females are not genetically equipped to be, this is my opinion, they're not genetically equipped to be leaders. But you know what they are genetically equipped to be is desirous of head pats. That's what they really want. They want hordes of people to show up and pat them on the head. So they end up doing and saying anything. And that's not too very different from the guys who are essentially females as well, doing the exact same type of behavior. But we have this phenomenon we're focusing in today, bungeeing in. We're screwing, pun intended, we are screwing the microscope in on the females. I bet you wondered where I was going to go with that. It's awful. It's just awful. It's like everything is ribbled with him. God, let's go listen to that female ribbled comedian. Shut up, you losers. Strychnine for you. So Sarah Stock becomes wildly popular, and we've been observing this again and again. these content creators who show up, and in particular, as we are focusing on the females today, who become leaders because of the number of opinions and minds that they sway as their audiences go through the stratosphere. Numerically, that is, not from calories. Some of them, though, from calories, I understand. Nonetheless, so we are screwing in. What happened recently? Well, it's very fascinating. I mean, we've seen this with Southern. We've seen this with Goldie. We've seen this with so many of them over the years. They show up. They become massively influential. They merely repeat what some content creators say. They get a feel, and we're going to be talking about this more in a moment. They get a feel. They lick their finger, and they do this with the wind, and they're like, where are the most pats on the head? Where's the most attention and or dollars? And then they pursue. And then, like Lily Gaddis, they immediately, they're like a hound. Many of them are hounds. So it's like a hound dog. And they're like, get that hound, get that bloodhound on it. Get that blood, like down south. Get out the bloodhounds. And they're like, moo! And that many of them, when they say hello, that's what it sounds like. Moo! And they take off after the popularity and the dollars. And it's really one of two directions, isn't it? It's toward the cuck audience, to appease the cuck audience, or it's to appease the schmuck audience. And they're like $3 whores, these females. What is their actual opinions? Who knows? Who actually knows? But who cares? They're just going to give the audience what the audience wants to hear. And then the audience is going to celebrate them to the stratosphere, make them influential. And we see them. They go by, audience count-wise, they go streaking by us. And thank God they're dressed. But they go streaking by us at like Mach 7 in the audience count. They go from 0 to hundreds of thousands, even millions of followers in the blink of an eye. That's not their fault. I mean, they're doing genetically what they're predisposed to do, to get pats on the head, to pursue the dollars. That's what they're doing. But the problem lies in the audience. The problem lies in the audience count. What can good people need to do? Good people do. We can't go out there, and boy, I wish we could, and go out there and take maybe a billy club and whack white people in the back of the head until we knock some sense into them. We can't do that, not yet. If I were in charge, things would change. We can't do that just yet. So what can we do? We have to, as a people, devalue audience count. We have to devalue audience count. Forever, since the dawn of the internet and people being able to be on and have an audience count, a little number on the screen, people have concluded value by way of that number. It's for them, a shortcut, they think. I don't have to evaluate what's being said. I don't have to evaluate if there are successes, if it's logical, if it's reasonable. I don't have to evaluate how long has it been on the same course. I don't have to evaluate what are the stated A through Z steps to achieve this objective, and then are those objectives being achieved. I don't have to do any of that. I can just look at the audience count and determine whether or not there's value. We have to devalue audience count. In fact, the inverse is more true, more often true. The larger the audience, the less of value. In fact, the more destructive the information likely is to be. Never forget this. This needs to become perennial. It is a new truism of the ages that a larger audience counts almost universally means that what is shared is of little value and to varying degrees destructive. So we have a lot of these females, and I've noticed it's very curious lately. Over the past couple months, there must be something in the air, some effluvia floating through the air because there are female content creators who didn't quite make it, or they're running out of steam. They weren't patted on the head enough. They weren't invited to Fox News enough. They weren't, whatever it is, or they're getting tired of carrying on a lie to appeal to right-wing guys, to appeal to ordinary, normal white guys, for example. They show up out of nowhere. Sometimes they have something interesting to say. I mean, you can think, for example, of Natalie Beisner. She's been a guest on here with us. She'll never come back because she's been hired by Fox. So she showed up, and she was a leftist. She claimed to be a leftist who became a Trump supporter. She wasn't. We were able to speak with her prior to her getting big pats on the head. So she was like, shit, yeah, I'll come on with you, talk about these things. Yes, white positivity is fantastic, and arresting our victimization to the benefit of everyone is a great thing. Shit, yes, I'll show up. Well, immediately she goes from no attention to, she's on Trace Gallagher almost nightly on, is that his name, on Fox, doing a good job over there, doing a good job. But that's another example of yet another female living her life. Look at the injustice, just by the by. Look at the injustice. And white females should really, these white female content creators, if they're legit, look at the injustice. I dedicated my life at 12 years of age, fought through the idiocy of the white sympathetic sphere to develop a practice that benefits white people. Every single time, testimonials in the literal hundreds that have been given on the internet over the years, thousands, a program that always works. And here come these white females, can live their life blithely, insouciantly, no interest whatsoever in politics, and or anti-white to varying degrees, Democrat voters, as you will see with Emily Saves America, suddenly see an opportunity with Emily, maybe a little bit different with Natalie Beisner. She sees the harm being done by leftist policies, taking her at her word, face value. And she says, this is no good anymore. And I'm going to speak out against it. There's something wrong with this. And that's what she did, taking her at her word, face value. It is incumbent upon white females to, as they blow by white guys who are fighting for our people, decade after decade, not bad-mouthing non-white groups, bad-mouthing non-white people on the basis of their birth, but fighting for the arresting of our victimization. It is incumbent upon them. I mean, the only thing that makes them legitimate is when they rocket by in Mach 7 to tell their audience, holy shit, this is something that works. This is something that's noble. You all should pay attention to that. I know you're not going to immediately click a follow because he doesn't have a pretty face and long, pretty hair and tits. I'm sorry. And knockers. But nonetheless, there's something of real value here. Not a single one. You know what? It makes me think as we get into Emily Saves America, who bamboozled the absolute totality of the right wing. Bamboozled it. As these women, I saw another one. What was her name? It's going to come back. Maybe I should look her up. Last week, before this little kerfuffle started, another Trump MAGA woman, blonde. Oh, it's the one who owned a salon down in Suffolk, Virginia, I think. And her salon was going out of business because of COVID. And they were shutting it down and she could not. So she decided she was going to get online. Her video, by the way, is still, many of these content creators, they pull down the video that they all make where they say, my God, I had no idea. I turned on the camera to say how pissed I was. And next thing I saw, I had 300,000 followers. they usually pull that video down. Hers is still up. Hers is still up, where she said, I just wanted to complain about my business being shut down. The next thing I knew, I had 200,000 followers, and I was like, hey, now she's got millions. Not enough. She's now complaining about all the fake MAGA girls, and there are plenty of them. Oh boy, there are plenty of them. They're all showing up now. Since Sweeney has these great genes, it has given all of these skanks an opportunity to jump back on video and photographs to their 500,000, 700,000, 1.2 million followers across platforms, 2.8 million followers across platforms. And there they are showing the huge tracts of land off. And they're in the low cut this and the low cut that. And they got a tramp stamp and all of this going on the back. And they're showing off all their flesh. That's what it's all about. Massive followers, no direction to the things that actually benefit white people. Certainly those MAGA girls, they would say, go the other direction because they're cucks. But the other ones who acknowledge race, they need to be talking about, and they need to be talking about individuals and communities like us. Emily Saves America is a great example. Emily Saves America came out of nowhere. She was another hardcore anti-white. And then she decided, well, she's going to get into this conservative grift. Now's the time. Years back, now she's going to get in. Now is the time. No followers, no interest in this female, nothing whatsoever. She is so pumped up, full of filler and makeup and everything else that you could put in, laser treatments and etc. It's hard to believe there's a human being underneath all of that. Finally, after all the fake up, she looks all right on video, about a mid, about probably a little bit below mid without all of the treatments and more filters in a Keurig. But she shows up out of nowhere and she's like, right-wing perspective, 500,000 followers for you. Blows by, dust kicked up in the wake. And she's getting a little tired, though. She immediately, upon showing up, I mean, this goes back so far, this kind of behavior in the right wing is garbage. I mean, it is pathetic garbage. A female show up and they are just falling just mid appearance. So she immediately was brought on several times and revisited several times for interviews. Emily, what is your opinion? We are all dying to know what you think. What are your most deepest thoughts, Emily Saves America? Newsmax. So Newsmax immediately, and of course, these are going to be the simping guys over there, the simping hosts, whatever that guy's name is, and producers and everything else. Immediately brought on Fox News. Immediately brought on Fox News. This is your right wing. This is the cucks, of course. She's been on Jesse Waters in the teens numbers of times. She too has been on with Trace Gallagher. She also has appeared with Greg Gutfeld on his show, his late night show. She's been on with several times Piers Morgan. She has photographs of herself with RFK, Vivek Ramaswamy. Do you remember the black homosexual who was also a leftist and then suddenly was recruited? Which absolutely inept cuck institution hired this guy? DeRousseau, his name. She's appeared with pictures with him. She has appeared with pictures with Charlie Kirk. Elon freaking Musk has retweeted this lying skank. I can smell her from here, and she's in California. She was interviewed all about her life with Jesse Lee Peterson. He had to have her on. Won't talk to me, that anti-white, old, black-ass piece of shit. Won't talk to me. You and everybody that works with you. Won't talk. We'll talk to Richard Spencer. We'll talk to everybody else under the sun who ostensibly, and they don't actually even care about the white race. He makes his money off white people. Well, the both of them. But Jesse Lee Peterson making all his money off white people won't have an actual advocate on. But we'll have Emily Saves America. What are your deepest thoughts, Emily? What do you think about white people? Emily Saves America. What do you think about the white people? So her white ass showed up there to sit with his black ass over there on Jesse Lee Peterson. Maybe he feels that he's just too attracted to me and he won't be able to keep his hands off me during the interview. Maybe that's the problem. I mean, I could sympathize with that. I could sympathize with that, brother. So let's do this. We're going to have a quick look at Emily and her Instagram. We'll start with that. And we'll show you. Look at this skank. You'll realize I've mentioned her before. But you'll realize how much of a grifter she and virtually hyperbole is warranted. Every other female as much a grifter. It's fake as shit. It is absolutely fake. Look at, she's covered in this. Look at her here. Oh, make America great again. Trump, Trump. Look at her here with the Donald Trump hat and the signature on it. We could roll through this. It's just item after item. I guess it's not going to load. It's item after item of her on with news celebrities. She's been on, it feels like countless, absolutely countless appearances with content creators who just couldn't get enough of this anti-white skank, faked up. By the way, she said that she, at one point when she was in the mid of the grifting, she said, I've never used any plastic surgery, filler, etc. And then somebody went to an older video when she was first getting started, and she's like, yeah, I got 35 vials in this eye and 42 vials in this eye and 14 vials over here, and just on and on. Totally faked up. Here's the issue. Sarah Stock got engaged, and she got a ring, and she wanted to show it off to the internet because views, because content. Sarah Stock wrote, I won. Okay, why do you have to show us? Why do you got to tell us? Go live your life. Get out of social media. Stop being a content creator and leading opinions on the right. Certainly when you are leading them into abject cuckery, stupidity. So Emily Saves America decides that she's going to chime in. And she says, the ring size and a skull. Well, everybody, of course, has gone off on this conversation about, oh, does the ring size matter? Who cares? That's my opinion. Who cares? Just get lost. We don't want to hear your so-called original thoughts that are just stolen from male content creators who will never have your audience size and whom you will never cite. We don't need to hear from you. Trust me. You're total mid. Take your ring in your marriage. Focus on your family. Get lost. Emily Saves America is not only is she anti-white and a grifter, and why is she a grifter? For the pats on the head, because she don't need the money. She's filthy rich. She is filthy rich. Who knows what mommy and daddy do? But she's filthy rich. So she is just there for the adulation. She's just there as a pick-me for audience size. So she's getting tired of the conservative grift, and she decided to attack Emily because the ring is too small. Well, here you have another female who would never speak to us here, Pearl Davis, a engaged, of course, everyone knows, in sexual relationships with black males. She'll have Fuentes on. She'll have just about everybody else on, but not somebody who actually cares about the white race. Doesn't want a remedy, do you, Pearl, when you're choking one down? You know what I mean? She doesn't want a remedy. So she has to chime in, make herself relevant. This other, so you got three e-whores. This is the leadership of the right wing. Three combined, they have many, many millions of followers. So she chimes in, hottest right-wing e-girl taken off of the market. Hottest? No. Total mid. She says, conservative women will always use their marriage and family to build their brand. Okay, so she is going after the building of the brand there with all of the whores, the e-whores going at each other. You got a three-way here, and it's not the way you want to see it. Emily has to respond because Morgan, a real nasty whore from Fuentes community. You really got to be screwed up when you are a female in the Fuentes community. And she chimes in, going after Emily, and says, you give it up for free, ho. Might want to sit this one out. That's what the skank Morgan Ariel decides she's going to add in. So Emily decides to punch back. And by the way, all of these so appropriate for this guy, Brian Atlas, to say, if women ran things, there would be no more war. What a joke. Everybody would be dead. Of course, nobody remembers Rama Bologna the Cruel, the most murderous leader of all human history. But here we have Emily decides to fight back. She says, Morgan, your baby daddy abandoned you. You're raising a bastard child. Can we not just get them into some sort of arena to fight to the death? Wouldn't that be better? But yet, somehow, some way, you think you're better than me or anyone on this app. You gave it up for free, got left in the dust, and now post rage bait on X to supplement the inadequacy of your monthly child support payments. It's not over with that. We have them both coming back in, fighting. Pearl Davis says, Morgan, you are a single mother with a public video admitting you have a sexually transmitted disease. You may want to sit this one out too. Morgan punches back, you suck, whatever, and probably have AIDS. This is the charming fight. None of that is true, Emily, Morgan fires back at Emily Saves America. But unlike you, I don't lie. So here are some facts. You got something in the middle of a hotel lobby at TPUSA event while everybody watched, and there were even families around. Well, I mean, Emily Saves America isn't going to tolerate that. So she has to punch back with a video.
All right. I'm sorry, but the amount of little fucking 19-year-old white boys in MAGA hats who love to send me messages about how I need to find God and I'm a fucking...
Okay, so did I tell you all from the very beginning? Anti-white pig here, who has made money. She's super popular, been all over the... I could be in service to white well-being 5,000 years and wouldn't get this much attention, popularity, interest in what I have to share, income from this. And here she says, the little effing white boys that are complaining about her now. Let's see if it will play or not.
Why don't you fucking worry about yourself, okay? I'm fucking vibing. I'm crushing it. I'm having fun. I'm the life fucking party. Something you'll never be. You live in a fucking flyover state. You have little dick energy. You're probably a fucking virgin. So why don't you just focus on you, whatever the fuck makes you happy, and I will keep going to nightclubs, partying, and doing drugs because that's what makes me happy. And you know what? I would and yeah, lastly, I would fuck your dad, but he doesn't make enough money.
So that is your conservative content creator that millions of you have turned out. Big producers, Newsmax, Fox, hundreds of right-wing content creators begged for interviews and she gave them. This is the right wing. This is what it's composed of. People like Emily Saves America, Morgan Ariel, Pearl Davis, the fake Sarah Stock, Nick Fuentes, and everybody who pledges loyalty to him is essentially Fuentes. This is the right wing. No wonder things are going so well across the West.
Sorry, but the amount of little fucking like 19-year-old white boys in MAGA hats who love to send me messages about how I need to find God and I'm a fucking degenerate and all this shit. Why don't you fucking worry about yourself, okay? I'm fucking vibing. I'm crushing it. I'm having fun. I'm the life fucking party. Something you'll never be. You live in a fucking flyover state.
Just really just let this settle on you, the reality of this. For years, she has been, and make no mistake, every other so-called leader, content creator on the right has this in their minds, has this in their background, has this in their closet. She's just blowing up over this row with these other e-sluts, and she's coming clean with what she really feels on the inside. So let this settle in, that this is what everybody is following. This is what the millions are showing up for.
You have little dick energy. You're probably a fucking virgin. So why don't you just focus on you, whatever the fuck makes you happy, and I will keep going to nightclubs, partying, and doing drugs because that's what makes me happy. And you know what? I would and yeah, lastly, I would fuck your dad, but he doesn't make enough money. So
absolute garbage.